I had to step out for a while to take a phone call from a reporter in Grand Forks, North Dakota. And the reason for the question was, as you know, the administration yesterday announced an expansion of scrutiny over land purchases around military bases. They added, I think, 8 or 9 bases in states like North Dakota, South Dakota, Texas, Iowa, to the 100-mile radius for as a highly sensitive base. In other words, giving CFIUS jurisdiction within 100 miles of these bases. One of them is the Grand Forks Air Force Base, another one the Minot Air Force Base. You may recall there was, we had quite a year last year dealing with a Chinese purchase of some land near Grand Forks for a wet corn mill facility. Anyway, all of that, finally the Air Force said, bad idea, let's not do it. CFIUS didn't have jurisdiction because it was only 12 miles from the base. I ask, my question isn't to comment specifically on Grand Forks and CFIUS, but rather, is there an increased intelligence involvement or scrutiny of land purchases by foreign entities, particularly adversarial foreign entities?
Yes is the simple answer, in the sense that over the last many years now, just as a broader context, and I suspect you already know this, but basically, as we have enacted tools such as CFIUS, for example, using the Chinese as an example, they have figured out ways to get around some of these issues in order to still try to achieve the results that they're looking to achieve. And we have seen, in the mechanisms that on a bipartisan basis administrations have enacted, I think expanding from the CFIUS statute, for example, to an executive order that allows for the review of transactions where telecom companies, for example, are purchasing land and then selling, telecom services to U.S. citizens, where that information may be then taken and misused. So there's a variety of examples, I think, of scenarios in which that issue at least has come up. That's helpful.
Well said. I appreciate it. General, anything you'd want to add to the?
Clearly, a counterintelligence threat center. You laid that out, and in the purview of the DOJ and the FBI here in CONUS, but. From a foreign perspective, we see this behavior and activity in other countries around the world. Clearly a huge counterintelligence threat.
Great, thank you. With regard, I want to comment on Senator King's questions about ISR and the 1% to 2% dedicated to specifically to drug trafficking. Is that simply a prioritization issue, or do we just need more capacity to do really good ISR? Because I want to be fair that 1% to 2% isn't very much, but do we have enough in general to cover all of the things that you have to watch?
Senator, every combatant commander that speaks before this committee will say the same thing, that they don't have enough ISR. I think it's a capacity issue. Certainly, technology can help, advances in space and other sorts of sensing capabilities. But it's a really difficult conversation with our Southcom partners on how bad this problem is.
Yeah, great. Thank you. I suspected as much, and you're right. It is unanimous among the combatant commanders. So, Director Haynes, I'm going to really shift gears here a little bit because we're talking about worldwide threats, and it's easy to talk about the big ones that are obvious and always in front of us. But there are other smaller skirmishes here and there that I think may not be as significant, but still significant. I'd like your take on one in particular, and that is what's going on in Haiti. I have a number of friends that are involved in charitable work. In fact, I'm kind of stunned how many friends I have involved in charitable work, and they're just distraught about what's going on in Haiti. Now, Haiti, I'll tell you where it is in its proximity, and maybe you could just tell me a little bit about what you were seeing in Haiti, to the degree you're able to tell me what you think, what's being done and what can be done. And these are policy questions, I understand that, but I think we need to engage a little bit and not just let it fall, because for obvious reasons. Maybe just expand the last 30 seconds of my time on that.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't agree more with the fact that this is a really vexing issue and one that should be focused on. And I can tell you that from an intelligence community perspective, we have been looking to try to find ways to support, in effect, what I understand the policy community is looking at, which is a multinational force that would try to address the situation, both from the perspective of training police and also to sort of try to manage the violence that has has erupted and the gang control of territory in this area. And I will say briefly that, first of all, we have a lot of analytic products. I'm happy to provide you what I think is the best that we have on this, but it is, none of it is optimistic, which is to say that this is a really challenging situation, and it does not look as if it is going to get better anytime soon.
So if I might, General, I mean, are there security concerns in addition to just the moral and ethical concerns?
I think there are security concerns and moral and ethical concerns. When I look at it, it's sort of the loss of credibility in the government and government institutions, their ability to provide services, a terrible economy, a population at risk, and at the same time, this rise of these organized criminal elements that seem to be taking over and challenging the security forces. So really a perfect storm, and I think in our hemisphere, we are paying attention to that.
Thank you both.
Thank you, Senator Cramer. Senator Warren, please.